Hello everybody, my name is Spencer, and I am the writer of Five Nights at Freddy's, the indie horror musical. And today I'm going to be doing a full plot breakdown and synopsis for the FNaF musical. Now obviously I did have to adapt the story of FNaF as it is so dense. So firstly, I wanted to talk about some notable exclusions from the story. Firstly, Cassidy. With the fifth missing child, especially looking to be Golden Freddy, and possibly either both Cassidy and the crying child possessing Golden Freddy, it muddled the lines of how possession worked in the story. And since I wanted to keep it to the FNaF 1 animatronics, as well as the puppet and Springtrap, there was no other place for Cassidy to go. So Cassidy did end up getting cut from the story. Another reason for this is we really don't know that much about Cassidy as a character quite yet. So there's no real way to include her in a way that would not only pay homage, but be a good representation of the character of Cassidy from the games. Another notable exclusion is Circus Baby, and most of the sister location stuff, including Ennard and Corpse Mike, and just everything basically that has to do with sister location, except a few tongue-in-cheek references here and there. The reason behind this is that Elizabeth, again, it muddles the story. It's hard to tell a cohesive plot because you can't have Elizabeth without the other fun times, without Ennard, without Corpse Mike, and that's really what I was trying to avoid, is to not muddy the water so much to where an audience that has never really heard of FNaF before can watch or listen to this and have a basic understanding of what's happening without robots disemboweling people and climbing inside and using them as skin suits. Keep it a little bit central, which is unfortunate because Elizabeth is a good character, but the main characters in this musical are Charlotte, Henry, William, and Michael. So, that being said, let's run down the entire plot. So, the story opens with a newscaster in front of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, talking about how the new Freddy's location is opening, and how Henry and William had a previous location, Fredbear's Family Diner, where they used the two Springlock suits, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. And that Fredbear and Spring Bonnie are there at the grand opening, but will soon be retired for Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. So it starts with this investor coming in to talk to William Afton, and this is in the song The Fantasy and Fun, right after the overture, to ask him questions about the grand opening. And William explains that he has discovered that the Springlock mechanisms that made his Springlock suit technology possible have a fatal design flaw, and that if they get wet, a trap will spring and the person wearing the suit could get crushed, and that's why the two suits, although being popular at their previous location, were being retired for the new Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The investor and William then go to talk to Henry, who's showing off the security puppet, which constantly plays My Grandfather's Clock, but if somebody enters the restaurant with a criminal history, the puppet uses a facial scanner to start playing Pop Goes the Weasel. Charlotte then comes up, Henry's daughter, and talks to him, and he sends her outside as she is getting overwhelmed with all the people inside of the restaurant, but warns her to stay out of the parking lot. William then sends the investor on his way and goes to talk to his two sons, Michael Afton and the crying child, who are bickering. The crying child's carrying around a small teddy bear doll, and Michael Afton is just basically making fun of him and humiliating him because of it. William comes over, yells at Michael, Michael yells back, and walks away. Michael then begins to torment the crying child, and the crying child is obviously scared of the Springlock suits, and Michael, not knowing the danger of the Springlock suits, brings the crying child up to Fredbear's mouth, who then clamps down, killing the crying child, and William Afton observes this. The next scene is Charlotte alone in the parking lot outside of Freddy's, and in the chaos, William Afton hits and kills Charlotte with his car. So both William Afton and Henry have lost their youngest child on the same day in the same situation. This is another notable exclusion is there's no presence of a Mrs. Afton, and this is the reason behind this, to put William and Henry in a very specific situation. The next scene is the next song, track number 3, Missing Children, with both Henry and William lamenting the losses of their children. At the end of Missing Children, Henry notices the security puppet behaving abnormally and moving when it is not plugged in. Henry deduces that the spirit of Charlotte has possessed the puppet. He immediately goes and tells William, and William, upon seeing this, requests of Henry to let him run experiments on the puppet to see what the parameters for possession are. What causes a possession? What needs to be met? How are they possessed? Is the energy readable? To see if the crying child has possessed something. Henry denies this because he fears that the spirit of Charlotte might get thrown out of the puppet and he would lose his daughter again, thanks to William. The next scene is William cleaning at Freddy's when he notices Susie, a young girl, bullying her little sister, and this immediately reminds him of Michael, his son that had killed his youngest son. So, when William is reminded of Michael, he starts to think about these 4 new robots, and this is all in the track 4, Turn the Crank Part 1, and deduces that if he could lure Susie away, he could kill her and see if she possesses anything. So he does that, and then the next scene is Henry and William. Henry comes in and basically talks to William about the fact that a child went missing, and William is just outright denying it while observing the Chica suit, because that's the suit that Susie was stuffed into. So Henry's already suspicious. The next scene is track 5, Turn the Crank Part 2, where William lures away the other 3 children that are misbehaving. Then we go into track 6, which is the Missing Children reprise, with all of the parents of the children that went missing singing a reprise of William's lament about his youngest child. This takes us to the next scene, where the 4 spirits of the murdered children are wandering the pizzeria, and the spirit of Charlotte, who has attached herself to the puppet, decides that she needs to do something about it, and guides their souls into the animatronics in track 7, the puppet song. So, William Afton is in the security office, upset that every one of his experiments has failed and no souls of the children has attached themselves to one of the robots. But he notices them all start to move. Excited at first, but realizes they are coming towards the office and they are coming for him. William Afton panics, puts on the Spring Bonnie suit, the animatronics attack him, he trips over a bucket of water, splashes the water on himself, and the spring locks go off in track 8, Springtrapped. William is dying on the floor and Henry comes in track 9, Depravity. Henry explains that he has deduced what William has done and locks him in a safe room and boards it up, leaving him to die. Track 10 on track day takes us into Act 2. Act 2 starts with a 4 years later in 1987. First act takes place in 1983, second act in 1987, with Michael Afton, who has just graduated from college. Michael Afton is 18 in 1987 and 14 in 1983. So just having graduated from college, writing a letter to his father, basically explaining what has happened to him in the last 4 years, and that everyone thinks that William Afton is the secret missing children incident killer, but then disappeared, ran off somewhere. So Michael promises to come find his father, and knows that the place he has to go is Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and that all happens in track 11, Come Find You. Track 12, Tomorrow Night, starts, and it's a fun, peppy song starring the phone guy, an instructor, telling Michael what to expect from the night shift. And as many of you may know, I put out the full demo for Tomorrow Night, but I've actually added, since then, a part directly pulled from the script of the FNaF 1 phone calls. So I'm going to read that to you guys right now. So, phone guy now says, So your main objective is watch the Fazbear Collective. Let's see. First, there's an introductory greeting from the company that I'm supposed to read. It's kind of a legal thing, you know. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Upon discovering that damage or death has occurred, a missing persons report will be filed within 90 days, or as soon as the property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached, and the carpets have been replaced, blah blah blah. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about. People like to make up lies about these lovable guys, and you guys get it from there. So, phone guy dies at the end of night 4, in a comedic, semi-serious way. And then the night 5 phone call is the crying child repeating his Latin phrase, which roughly translates to brotherhood betrayed, fatherhood lost. So that starts track 13, I Got No Time, which is Michael's 5th night, as he is running and being chased by the animatronics in the first verse. In the second verse is Springtrap's verse, talking about how he knows Michael is there and he wants to kill him. And the third verse is Charlotte's verse, not understanding that even though William Afton died, her soul, as well as the souls of the other children, are still not free. So, that's track 13. I Got No Time. Track 14 is He Always Does, which is after the animatronics surround Michael and basically confirm everyone's suspicion that William Afton is the killer of the 1983 murders. They take him to the safe room in an attempt to seal him back in there because they confuse Michael Afton for his father, and he sees Springtrap. And that is track 15, Scrap Trapped, which is a reprise of track 8, Springtrapped, where William Afton basically explains to Michael that yes, he did kill the missing children, and it is Michael's fault for killing the crying child. Springtrap knocks out Michael, and Henry enters, and we enter track 16, Nowhere to Run. And Henry basically explains that using the same facial recognition that was used in the puppet, he set up security cameras to, if William Afton's face was ever seen, because he had the mask on, Henry would come there and burn down the building, as he knew that William Afton had possessed the Springtrap suit, because William Afton was stuck inside the Springtrap suit. But during Scrap Trapped, he takes his mask off, revealing his purple, rotting, gross face, basically. So Henry shows up and sets fire to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, bringing the whole place up in flames. Now this brings us to track 17, Going Home. The spirits of the children are freed, and Henry's spirit guides them upward, while William's spirit falls downward. And there's one more song. It is track 18, Happiest Day. Michael Afton survives not only being knocked out by his father, but also the fire, and crawls out and meets with the puppet, who is Charlotte, who brings over the Fredbear animatronic, which has started twitching, with the soul of Michael's younger brother. Michael is given the opportunity to say he was sorry, and Charlotte is given the opportunity to say goodbye to Michael, and Michael ends the musical on his knees with the Fredbear animatronic in his arms, as the spirits of Charlotte and the crying child head upward. Now that is the whole plot of FNaF the indie horror musical. I'm incredibly proud of what I have, and I am incredibly humbled and incredibly grateful for the response that it has gotten. I am so happy to have all these people that are so interested in what I'm doing. Auditions are underway. I'm super excited to start, to keep going through, and what I've seen so far has been amazing. Thank you guys, and I will see you soon.